responsible for over half of all plants. Some of the more dangerous.
Okay. So I will be painting this digitally. So I will be digitally. So let me lock that first. Uh, I can't see. Okay. Have the cursor. You guys see the cursor? I guess the cursor is visible there. So let's begin. So what I want to do now is smoothen this out. Because when we go far, kind of looks a little bit stiff. So I want to, you know, make it smoother. And I guess to do that, we're gonna need darken this a little bit, maybe. Just pick a color here. Brush shape. Now let's smooth it out. basically the same thing, but you know, uh, for blending, there are pros and cons when using digital. One pro is that you can quickly erase or undo your work, and you have layers. You can experiment, so that's why I do it here. This is just, just using the brush and smudge tool. Basically, it's easy. There's no special thing going on here. What's important is your vision. And if you don't have reference, like this one, I've done my research, gathered my reference, and studied them for a few months. Just didn't work on it. I just like have it in mind, and then do some magic editing to achieve to just reach a uh, closer to the goal, but that actually you can't expect to achieve your exact goal. So I used resources that are online and accepted and reported. So change it to the way you want. I want to change this hair style, the technique, so it can reflect like more of Leonardo's technique. But for now, I'm just studying the flow. I don't want to put too much white here. Uh, Maybe let's soften the brush more. Just blur it a little more. Sure, you know where these resources come from. References I'm using here, but it doesn't look, you know. I've done a lot of edit to it that. almost looks like it's far from the original source material. It's no longer like as obvious. So I want to thin this out here, but still keep the hair there. Uh, by the way, this is just I will be using this as a reference. It's not going to be the final work. I'm going to use this as a reference for a painting. So working on it here just to give me some, flexibility. Experiment without having to wait for the paint to dry. Stuff like that. You can experiment on your canvas, but nowadays. So by blurring here, and lower our strength maybe. Blur this a little bit. Hmm. Uh, can't do anything about that. So I'll just keep working here. So I used liquify a lot in the beginning. You know, you know how it is. I'm still unsure about all this here. Like, I mean, the actual workflow for making hair. Which one should you start with? Like, I know that in charcoal, you need to like do the darks first and then erase it. The lights to create your highlights. But here, there's a lot to think about. Like, you need to blur stuff. And you have mid-tone colors too. And this is too fine. The, you know, let's save. It's too fine to actually see what we can do here. Let's blur that. You don't wanna make it like too much. So just erase some spots here just to make it like irregular. So what I want to do now, in the actual painting, I guess I don't know if I will have to like draw all of this here. Smudge to blend. And I'm working on a separate layer just to make it easier. Because if you work on your actual layer below, smudging like this will just disrupt everything below. It's gonna add another like another layer of work. Think about. So it's better to just work on another layer. That right now. I have opacity on pressure, and what I do is just lightly apply it here. Slowly apply it. When establishing forms, it's the same as oil painting. You just need to have two values first, and you can just, you either add the third value, your light or your dark, or smudge first, then add. I may have to change all this. So this is the benefit of it, because if I don't like this, I'll just erase it without affecting what's below, and then just restart, just do it again. This one needs to be More circular like this. Got that. Lighten this up. I don't want him to be too thin. The amount of punishment he took, you're like malnourished or unprepared, you're not gonna last long. The amount of beating that he took is like beyond anything. Imagination. Because they say that, their theory is that Pilate didn't want to kill him. So Pilate like hurt him so bad so that people will consider releasing him, because Pilate realized that there's something like different about him. Remember, he asked like, "Where are you from?" I mean, Pilate was there when the Magi like the made the prophecy. So he kind of knows that there's this guy, special guy, coming. We figured out like after a few years, so many years, comes up, and then people want him dead and stuff. Like, wait, where you from? Like, I was thinking, because he's a Roman and he doesn't want to offend the gods. So he just like, okay, I'll just flagellate him and release him. That's the theory, by the way. There's some proof to it. Like, I'm sure in those times, like, it's not as, we're not as distracted like today. So whatever like town gossip there is, people are gonna hear about it from soldiers or from his assistants and stuff, or from his wife. So in the movie, right, like, his wife was like, I had a dream about this guy, and it was implied that his wife was actually a follower. So his wife tried to persuade him to, not to do anything, because he knows that this guy is like healing people. So this guy is from the gods and don't want to offend the gods, man. Let's add another layer here, but this one is a multiply layer. And then I want to darken this edge here. And darken this edge. Let's add shadows here. Just to see what we get, you know. Cut it down like that. Just erase it. Erase it. Smudge. You know, if I were in pilot's shoes, it's going to be hard. That's why, you know, it wasn't like really emphasized in the movie, but they show it there like he was like having a headache. What am I supposed to do here? Like the Jews back then, the priests were threatening him of you know, a riot. I don't know why it's such a big deal. Like why that movie became like so controversial for the religious Jews. Not gonna talk about it. I don't wanna, you know, offend anyone. I'm just curious, like, what's going on. So by using multiply here, I can just darken areas without having to deal with the structure beneath. So if an area like this, there's a lot of details there, and I don't want to have to deal with that, so I'll just use multiply there. And again, this I don't have to do this like perfect, but you know, it's fun. It's fun to do it. So why not do it? I want some shadows here around here. Around here. Kind of feels floaty, you know. yeah, I guess, you know, life is complex and there are things I really don't understand. Politics and stuff. So I'd rather not go deeper into it. But about the shroud of Turin, that's where I got the information about like how hard it is for him. Christians aren't mad about it because we were not taught to blame people for what Jesus did. Like he did it for everyone. It was his choice to lay down his life. He wasn't like victimized, thing like that. Kinda made sure that that happened actually. Kinda led people to that. Was like part of his mission. Actually, I like that, and it's a big, it's a big discussion right now, especially right now in some circles where I am in. Like there are new understandings of what actually happened, what for. I have my own like beliefs about it. Not standard, non-standard understanding of what actually happened and who's the real enemy, who's the real target, or what's the goal, ultimate goal of that. There's no enemies. I misspoke there. Actually, there's no enemies. Human wise, in terms of humans and each other, he didn't die to create enemies out of people. He actually wanted to liberate people from the things that cause them to be in conflict. So it was actually against condemning people and stuff. There was this town, right, and he was going to Jerusalem. Then they did not accept him because they know he was not going to stop by there. Then his disciples are like, "What? Let's call fire from heaven and punish these people." Like, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know the spirit that you're in, operating in a different spirit here. That's not me. I came here to save people, not to destroy them. So yeah, like if somebody tells you that Christians hate Jews and stuff, no, we actually love the Jews. Don't hate Jews for killing Jesus. They didn't, right? They were just the priest. Like if you look at it in a different way, like they were the priests that had to offer the sacrifice, but that's a different, like it's another subject altogether. Again, there's a huge discussion about that. Like Was there really a sacrifice? Like, it's just a word that we use, right? It's just a word. Doesn't matter. What matters is what he was trying to achieve, right? It doesn't matter if what people would twist words, use words just to, throw shade on something, like a diversion. Okay, we can call it like, we can call it a sacrifice, but not actually sacrifice. It's not like the sacrifice that, and even so, we don't really understand what sacrifice means in the Old Testament. Like, what does it really mean to sacrifice something? That time, they know the result, right? They know that this act would like a reset button for them. Wasn't actually. Don't know what it is. So when people like become distracted by the words used, like sacrifice, we don't really know what that is, because right now we think about it like uh what you would like do in the movies, right? Like kill someone for some exchange, change something. But the mysterious thing about it is in the Bible. What he did was like illustrated in different ways. There's not really like there's actually four understandings for like how the Protestant understand what he did. There are four like variants. There's the ransom theory. There's a lot of these things, and for me, that's where the truth comes in, right? Like, why do we have four understandings of it? Maybe the truth is we don't know. It's called a ransom. It's called a sacrifice. It's called like there's a lot of ways to understand it, but you know, bottom line is like he did something that he had a purpose for doing it. It's a God thing, right? It wasn't for people to know. Like all he said was like, you know, love each other. Everything is going to be new now. He said, like, love each other, and that's enough. A new command I give to you. That's what he said. Like, we start like blaming others or blaming each other for his death, then we're just contradicting what he did, like canceling it out, because that's the, like, the intended result that he wanted was like, okay, I'll do this and then you do this. Love one another. I'll die here now. I'll do this. I'll give myself up and then raise it up again. Your job is to love one another. And there's one theory that the churches don't have, or theology. Like, if you notice, like, after that event, right? Like, after that event, then the apostles started, like, preaching. The apostles were not preaching religion. They're actually saying that, change your mind about God, right? Like, reconcile yourself to God. Like, reconcile, fix your mind. Like, because people back then was like afraid of God, right? They don't have like this fatherly relationship with God. God to them was like a, a, a warden, a prison warden, someone who would like a judge or a law maker, an enforcer. So that's what they thought the gods were. And then some some cultures like have this different way of, viewing God. So when they introduced Christ, Jesus, they were like saying like, no, 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 that's not what God is. God is this. God is love, and we actually live in Him. You're not separate from Him. Like, you think that God is there, you have to please Him first with things, offerings and stuff, and rituals and stuff. You actually don't need that because you're already in living in God. Like, because of God, you exist. You can't actually escape Him. Like, there's no use in all of this. Have to do all these things like sacrifice and stuff. And be afraid. You don't have to be afraid because you're already in Him. You're actually living because of Him, through Him. Is actually already there. Not there is not there with you, but are there in Him, in God. So there's no point struggle in all of these struggles. That, because religion kind of takes us away. It kind of blinds us from actually uh, having a good relationship with our fellow man. Sometimes religion, like I said, religion was is selfish. Like, even if you claim to do all of this religious stuff because you want to save people or save the world, truth is, it's pointing towards yourself. It's not like an outward activity. You're actually doing it because you have to, or else, right? Like, or you have to, so that you're getting a reward or whatever. More towards yourself, right? Like if you don't kill, instead of, like, you don't kill. Why? Because uh, God will get angry. Instead of saying that, I won't because I love my fellow man, gonna say I won't because God will get angry. So it's towards yourself. It's not really a relationship. Actually, the twisted part about it is that, are religions that cause people to actually harm others for the sake of their following these mandates, because they're so they can escape like a torment or something. So for me, religion is no good. That's why I really, like what Jesus did, because it's kind of what his teaching was. It's kind of future, like it involves a kind of understanding that wasn't there before. Most people back then would do their due diligence, sake of, oh, my eyes are like actually can't see, like blind. What's happening? Eyes are like blurry. Right, that's what I like about this his what he's shown. Like, it's so different. Even those who followed him, like his followers, didn't understand what he was trying to say. Even said like, "Don't worry, the Holy Spirit. I'll send the Holy Spirit to teach you and remind you everything about me." So they themselves like didn't understand. Like after Jesus died, like rose, like escaped out, went to heaven, right? So they were there gathered together and they don't know what to do. Like, so what are we gonna do? Like there were these groups of people now, like that are not Jews, that are listening to them and wanting to join their group. It's all about, they didn't know what to do. Like, what are we supposed to do? Like, we teach, should we, like, what are the laws that these people need to follow? Then they decided, okay, whatever, everything is okay. Just that they stay away from sexual immorality and anything that has blood in it. So they actually didn't know what to do. They were like, they had this tentative laws that they had to apply because they didn't know what to do. So was that a failure? No, actually, no. The truth is, it's up to you now. Like practice. The command is to do everything in love, right? So now, what are you gonna like? How are you gonna manage these people? And then that sense, you're gonna have to consider people, right? Before you uh, apply laws, you have to think about them first. What's good for them, right? It's not about, because that's the point. Like, all of this is not about what's good for God, what what would benefit God. And actually, God died. So that's the idea, right? God died for our benefit. So it's all about us. So when we govern ourselves, it shouldn't be laws aimed at, pleasing God like they did before. It's actually about laws that would help people for the, for the disciples. Their job was to make sure whatever law that they were gonna have people follow, to for it's going to be for organizations sake, and for harmony's sake, peace, avoid trouble. You have to understand humans to make laws for humans, because that's what it is. That's the freedom that he gave, freedom to govern ourselves. And we are not totally free from our own weakness and our own, our minds, like that. We haven't been able to overcome everything. Like, for example, when like something happens and you have a reaction, right? That's like you can actually control how you react or change how you react, then there will be laws that are, for example, if you eat rotten food, right? What's gonna happen? Your tummy's gonna hurt because all of dirty stuff in there. Of course, there's going to be a law, right? Like, okay, don't eat this. Then again, if we do too much of that, like it's just gonna fall back to all these artificial rituals again, like all of these rituals that doesn't have any benefit. And that's what they tried to remove. But of course, they couldn't remove everything yet. Who are still, human. Like right now, if you consent is even hard to understand for other people. Some people actually don't understand what consent is. Why that's like necessary. why that's like a prerequisite for having doing thing with people. Like you need consent. You can't just like do stuff just because you need it or you want it. It has to be like consent. Did I fix the nose? I did. Image flip. Okay, so my eyes are kind of, I'm getting like dizzy and I can't like think correctly. Like my brain is like I can't see the proper values because of the monitor, because of the light, the glare of the monitor. So I'm gonna have to rest for now. But so far this is where we are at. I want to continue this series tomorrow because it's really interesting to see, to see, for also for me to study this because I also want to study Leonardo's way of drawing hair. This, and I want to see if I can apply that to his hair here, just to unify everything, still keeping things like realistic like this. But maybe I can like do something about this hair here. If I increase the hair width, maybe I can change you know how this works. And I also need to look at his work that has beards in it, so I can actually understand what's going on, how he does things. So that's it for me for now, and I'll be back next time. So let me end the stream here.